friends, welcome to the Caffeinated Occultist episode number 2.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. And today we're going to be just chatting about some topics on things that people have asked us, but really just the way that we practice, the things that we do, and just having a little relaxed chat about that.
Yeah.
We're not outside today because it's raining. So we're inside, but we're cozy, so it's all good.
And we have coffee this time.
And we actually have coffee this time.
Which is...
Although we are pretty much always caffeinated.
True.
But yeah.
True.
So grab a drink, guys. If you haven't already, grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee and caffeinate yourself. And you are very welcome to join us.
So, the first question you wanted to cover, well, first one you wanted to cover was how is it, what's it like having children and being a practitioner of the witchcraft and the occult?
Yeah, somebody asked us, how do you involve the children? Do you involve the children? And how does that work? So
Ritual sacrifice.
yeah, we had 2 children. No, Max has 2 children, and we've always been quite open with them with regards to some of the things that we see, some of the things that we experience, some of the locations that we go to, explain sometimes the history. But actually, both of the children, the oldest one in particular, has spoken about things quite openly to us, as kids do, because it comes naturally to them. And we've been able to confirm things that she's experienced and seen and that kind of thing. So on the sort of spiritual side of things, it's been quite easy because she's been very tuned in. She's not so much that it causes a problem for her, but enough to be able to say, do you remember once when we were walking along and she said, oh, there used to be a big hotel here, or a big white building here,
she must have been
and that's 6,
7, 8,
6 or 7.
Something like that. It wasn't. Yeah. She wasn't old at all, but yes, and we were going past the location. I knew the history of that one part of the town we were in, and she was bang on the money. There was a big coaching inn that ran along one side of the street, which has since been demolished. Yeah,
so the way that we deal with that kind of thing is, you know, particularly if we know it to be fact and it's correct, you know, we just kind of go, oh, cool, you know, what does it look like? Describe it to us, tell us more about it. But she didn't really elaborate. So we didn't push it. I mean, we don't kind of force it on them and try to make them more pagan or anything like that. It's not like that. We're letting them find their own feet, we're letting them experience things openly, and if we can help them with anything, then we do.
It's often the way that, certainly at a young age, if you're having a certain religion being shoved down your throat or being forced into it, a lot of people will later on in life rebel from it. But if it's planted as seeds of positivity, or
here's a possible way to view things. Here's a way that you could, you know, and if the kids are experiencing something that maybe other people can't see, or things that maybe other kids wouldn't necessarily talk about, I don't know, then we're certainly not going to tell them that they're wrong, or that it's not real, or that it's not there. We kind of encourage them to be open and honest about it, and without kind of, without sort of, the thing is with paganism is it's really nature-based.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times when we're out in nature with the kids, they'll mention things, they'll see an energy or something like that, and we're just relaxed about it. We just kind of go, oh, that's really cool, describe it, you know, and often we don't get anything further, and that's, you know, it's not a problem.
It's a lovely thing, and certainly along the lines of the connection to nature, I will always make sure I do it more to the older one. I quiz her on, like, you know, plants that are in the hedgerows or the different trees, and she's starting to remember quite a few of them now, which is good. It's being able to go, what's that one? And she can usually remember the name of it and maybe a use of it, and it's helping have that connection and understanding that everything around us has that energy.
Encouraging them to understand what nature is there for and to respect it, and that we should be living in nature rather than destroying nature. And they are, I keep saying the older one, but the younger one is really still really young, so we haven't seen much in terms of that kind of thing coming from him.
He's still
he's still in play mode. He's still and it's very sort of it's different with him because I've been in his life since he was 6 months old. And so for me it's been really, really cool because I don't have my own children. It's been really cool to have that kind of baby experience, which has been really, really good because it means that I've watched him develop in terms of his speech and learning letters and numbers and words and spelling and all that kind of stuff. But it means that I've also been able to teach him things like when he's drawing something, I've been able to teach him the astrological symbols for the planetary symbols and things like that, which he's loved. He's really enjoyed it, and little things like that. I'm fine doing that because I think it's a fun, cool thing to know. And you always see astrological signs in newspapers and magazines and things. They're going to see that stuff. And it's really fashionable at the moment too. You'll see it on T-shirts and on book covers and all kinds of stationery and things like that. It's a fashionable thing, so it's around a lot, the astrological stuff at least. So it's something that is there anyway, so I may as well explain to them
it's
what
quite
it
cool
is
when they
and teach them.
He'll spot something and be able to say, oh, that's Mercury or
Yeah.
something like that, and it's completely out of left field. And you go,
yeah,
oh, yeah,
well, that's like a kid
right,
saying a word, or when they're a baby and they just name everything that they see. It's the same, same sort of thing, and it is great to see that. In terms of the ritualistic side of things, I mean, we don't actually involve them in our
full rituals
that we do, because I personally feel the energy would be too much for them, and although I feel 100% confident in protecting them and protecting their energy, it could be a bit much for them to experience that, and it might frighten them, and that's not what we want to do. We want to just gently introduce things to them.
Like occult light, like something that's not as scary. We have done some. We did a very small ceremony at the roll rights with them.
We did.
Well, it's not necessarily a full ceremony. We did the roll rights at the solstice that time we went, and I think it was the Rugby World Cup or something like that. So there was absolutely no one there. We had the place to ourselves. So we did a very simple one. I'd made some incense and we burnt that, and they had
showing them what we're doing as well. So explaining. I mean, both the kids have made incense with us.
Yeah, they've made herbal teas,
and that helps them to understand, what's safe to touch, what isn't safe to touch, and same with foraging and using plants for magical uses as well. It's it's kind of teaching them, well, you don't eat those, or you wash your hands after you've touched this, and exactly the same thing with candles and flames, and it's all that sort of safety that you would teach your kids anyway.
I mean, with the older one, we made a very simple protective charm together. We used rowan berries and made a little necklace out of those, which was a really nice early one, explaining why this is a protective charm and things like that. And the older one even has
creative stuff is a great thing to do with kids as well. I mean, the kids don't live with us, so the time that we get with them, we spend a lot of time outside in nature, as much time outside as we possibly can with them, and taking them to ancient sites and cool locations and things like that. We do that with them, and we do sometimes do crafty things and making things and that sort of thing, and those are always great things to do with kids as well. And I think teaching them the turning of the seasons, teaching them the cycle of the year, and for them to be aware of the Sabbats as you go through the year as well. It's a really nice thing to do because it's so connecting. And and it's not necessarily religion based. You know, it's I'm acknowledging the fact that the seasons are changing, and that's my immediate environment, and I need to be in tune with that, and I need to be walking in time with that in order for life to flow smoothly, and to understand the cycles of the year and the seasons and things like that.
Definitely.
So again, it's a connection to nature.
It is. I mean, what I hope is there will be key memories, or there might be key things that you remember for one season. Like for me, it's blackberry and apple crumble. When it comes to autumn, because we would always go and collect apples and blackberries. We would always go and forage them as kids, and then we'll come back and try to make a pie, which often turned into a crumble. But that's the for me, that's the sort of the taste of autumn.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I think with children, as you say, it's about not ramming it down their throats. It's about gently presenting them with that information, and if they accept it, great. If they don't feel comfortable with it, then it's fine as well. They whatever path they choose in terms of spirituality and religion, we support them in anything. So I think that's the best way to approach it, really.
It definitely is.
This is what we believe, this is what we do, and you're part of that. But there will come a time when they might want to choose a different path or go a different way.
I mean, it would be interesting to see what takes place. It's nice that I know myself I've come full circle and come back to it from what I was experiencing at a young age, and since we're doing our best to give a similar experience to them, I would hope that they would come back round. But like you say, it's entirely up to them, and as long as they're whatever they're choosing, whatever path they choose, whether it be religious, non-religious, as long as it's based on kindness, caring, and generally not being an idiot, I'm more than happy to support them.
Yeah, of course.
Love them unconditionally, of course. So it's a nice thing to be able to have children that you can include in your workings, and it's a family bonding experience. There are certain things that we've done, like the one at the roll rides, but various things that we might do at, say, Christmas, or Yule, depending on when we have them, whichever one's closer. There's connections, like we've done a Yule log with them and had wishes and aims for the future, tied with ribbons around the Yule log, and we've had various herbs and resins put onto it, and put that on the fire together and sat together and things like that. And that's really, really nice. It's that everyday magic, which is what you have to work with kids. I mean, you can't get them involved in high magic, but
I know people that do things like meditation with their kids. I mean, from a really young age, teaching them to meditate. Our youngest, I mean, he wouldn't sit still that long. He doesn't sit still at all, in fact. So I can't see him meditating yet. I think he's still got that crazy energy, and he's still too young to want to do that.
Still too full of beans, I think.
It would be painful for him if we tried to make him. But then there's the discipline side of it. This is a good thing. I think he's done yoga at school,
which is really cool. That was big brownie points from me. That's really cool. I mean, there's a lovely thing. I mean, I certainly think it should be included in schools. So meditation, if not mindfulness, something where you're teaching them emotional maturity, where they can deal with their emotions as opposed to lashing out. And certainly, if a child is dealing with difficult emotions or anger or whatever it happens to be, having that coping system there is massively important. And if what we're doing with them helps towards that, which is absolutely fantastic. It's difficult to say without going too deep into their personal lives, really.
Yeah. We don't want to betray their own privacy. But I mean, that was a cow outside, in case you're wondering what that noise was.
Wasn't me.
But For me, it's the nature side of it, and it's the little things like, I mean, traditionally we teach kids so many things. I mean, I think most people teach kids a lot of things that come from pagan beliefs, probably without realizing that they're doing it. So Tooth Fairy, Father Christmas, there's all these kind of ideas, making wishes, all these kind of like little traditions and little things that exist in a child's world and in a child's mind. How they see the world is so magical.
Definitely. And
it's so cool to, I remember we went to an amazing location, and I remember talking to the eldest about the energies that were there, and she just didn't question. She just didn't once look at me as if to say that's not true, it's not real. She kind of went, oh yeah, I can see that. And whether she actually could or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the fact that she's going, oh, okay, I'm open to the idea of that.
The nice thing is she's at that pre-teen age where it's usually it's like, ooh, parents, ooh. Yeah. They smell. Whatever the young kids are into these days. God, I feel old saying that.
Yeah. So I think it's age dependent as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
And how mature your child is too. But yeah, crafty stuff is always good. Teaching basic stuff is always good, I think. And
certainly when we've been to sacred sites and we've spotted signs of other spells.
Oh yeah,
we have explained that.
So maybe things that people have left there.
So there's a nice love charm where people put a lock on a fence.
Yeah.
And explain that to the kids. That's what that's for.
Or a ribbon in a tree, or a coin throwing coins into
wells, or even the ones where they've been stuck into like a tree.
Yeah.
Like curing sickness and stuff like that.
And just explaining all that stuff.
And again, like you say, explaining the origins of these festivals. So I've explained to them, why, Father Christmas has reindeers and why he's actually the Lord of the Wild Hunt and all that sort of other nonsense. They probably have no idea, but he's hiding horns under that hat. Certainly the one we always took them to was probably hiding horns under that hat.
Yes. Absolutely. So, what else did we want to talk about? Oh, we want to hear about your experiences, by the way. This is it's a two-way conversation. We want to hear, if you have kids, what do you teach your kids in terms of, do you teach them paganism? Do you leave it open to them to explore different faiths? How do you approach it with your little ones? And it'd be interesting to hear.
Yes, it would be.
So yeah, it'd be great. So comment wherever you see this video, comment below and tell us your experiences.
Yes.
There's another thing that we wanted to talk about and I can't remember what it was.
I remember what it was.
What was it?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, it would help.
Okay. Past life experiences.
Oh, past lives, yes. Mm-hmm.
So, past life experiences are really, really interesting. And it's certainly something that you can learn from. You will probably have met several people that will claim to have been Cleopatra or Napoleon or I don't know, Alexander the Great's chief eunuch or whatever they happened to be. But it's often not these grandiose lives that we learn the most from. It's these everyday experiences and these everyday lives, and it's certainly been a wonderful experience to step into these small sort of snapshots or sort of moments of a past life, to experience what that is like, and it's been very nice. And there's certainly the thing where you would reincarnate with a similar group of people.
Always the same core group of people. So usually the people that annoy you the most, or the people that you struggle with the most, they're the ones that you're going to reincarnate with.
Sorry, you're stuck with them.
So so that core group of people. So you tend to recognise people from one lifetime to another. And when you regress into a past life, it's easy to spot them because they'll have the same eyes, or the same look in their eyes is probably closer to the to the truth. There might not be the same colour eyes, but you'll be able to tell by their eyes. You'll just be able to tell. So it's a fascinating subject, and one of my favourite subjects, and I love taking people into their past lives. I'm a advanced past life specialist and able to take people into past lives, and I love it. It's absolutely fascinating, and it's incredible when I hear the things that people say, to just, I write it down or we record it, and then I tell them to go and Google this crazy place name that they think they've made up, or it's kind of like, it's really strange, and then you find out the facts, or you go into the dates and the places and find that they are real, and that they there were people like that at that time. So sometimes even the names of the people, but yeah, you can go as far back in time, and it's fascinating.
It really is. I mean, I know that me and you have had, I believe was 2 that I know of. I might be getting that wrong.
At least 2.
At least 2, yeah. But the first, my first sort of past life regression that I fully remember was very, very interesting. Very similar experience, same time, place, same setting, same aim or goal.
Well, I was taking you through.
Yes.
Into the. I don't know if it just happened spontaneously. Actually, I think it may have been a spontaneous.
No, one of them.
Was I actually
one of them. The first one you walked me through it, and the second one was spontaneous.
Okay, so when I take people into a past life regression, I don't give any signals as to time period or any information like that. I allow the person to tell me what they're experiencing and tell me what they can see and what's around them, and I guide them through, and it's kind of a step-by-step sort of process, and then we jump to different points in that lifetime, so you could jump further a bit or go back a bit within that lifetime, and it gives you a bigger picture of that entire lifetime, so it's not just one moment within there. And it was really interesting because you were saying things that matched one of my past lives, and I couldn't give it away. I had to stay completely poker face and not kind of go, oh god, this is so interesting. Just go, really, tell me more. And trying to be try not to give anything away. And you were saying things, and I could see it because I've seen it before. And it was amazing to have you just reel off all the stuff that I'd seen in that past life as well. That was so interesting.
That was very, very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was certainly from a time period in history which I really, really like. So anything Neolithic, Stone Age, I have a real interest in. I think that's probably because I had a Stone Age fort very close by to where I grew up. So often when I'd be walking in the nearest woodland to my house, you would come across things like bits of worked flint, or various little signs of Neolithic habitation, like the first settlement on that land, which was really, really cool and interesting.
Cool.
So the second one that we shared was spontaneous, which was very, very unusual. But you later on, separate from myself, had another regression with someone else. But you came into you had that same life, but later on, which confirmed a lot of the details from that spontaneous one, which was really cool, because I was very, very early on, sort of my experiences of past life regression. So it was really nice to go, actually that was something that was really, really cool, because that came out of nowhere.
Those things when they're confirmed, when someone else says the same thing, that's really fascinating to me. And we learn so much from our past lives, and it's really amazing how sometimes I take a group into past life regressions, and obviously they're not all going to go the same way. Some people experience something really traumatic, and then somebody else in the group will have a wonderful experience, and someone else will discover something about themselves, or why they have a phobia, or why they have a certain fear, or they'll meet someone that they know in this life in a past life experience. But very often within the group, because people turn up to these events with people that they're very close to, because you're going to share something that's rather deep and personal, very often they'll see the person that they're with on that day
Mm.
in their past life regression, and I love that because they kind of go, oh, you were there, and you know, it's really lovely to see people have that connection.
It was very cool.
experience.
I was there when the last time you did a big group, and speaking to some of the people that went through it afterwards, it was really nice because I could almost see sort of the echo of that person, or the person they were in a past life was still within sort of their energy field and their aura. And it was really cool. Like one said, I was like, this person, I can't really go into details because the person will know I'm talking about them. But I said, it's like, I was like, just, I don't know why I went into describing this person never having seen them, but I could see it really clearly in the mind's eye, like in their energy field. I was like, that was really cool to see all these sort of, ancestors of yourself, which is, I'm not quite sure how to word that.
People ask me that. Is it an ancestor? And I don't think it is, but we're all kind of related anyway. But in a weird way, we are of course all connected. But I don't think that it's necessarily a biological ancestor.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting topic.
It is. I mean, I think one thing we do need to make clear as well is, as we said, we reincarnate with this core group of people. In another life, you may come back and your mother is your daughter or your
grandson.
Like the genders can swap, the dynamics can change, like biologically, or it can be someone you're really close to in this life could be someone you meet once on the street in another. But that they may have just as much of an impact on your life in that short moment as they have in other ones. So it's very, very strange, and sometimes you might feel that you've met someone, or you feel that there's this dynamic, like that person feels like a child, like my child, or I've met someone I instantly don't like them. It could be you really disliked someone in a past life. So it's
you're either picking up signals that person's going to cause you some trouble in this life, or it's a past life connection, or both.
It was very strange. I had someone like that. It was a lovely lad when I was younger, and for God knows reasons why, I got so annoyed even when he did the simplest things. Like he would sit down and I'd be like, "How dare he?" But I don't know why. I was a teenager, but that's the only way I could describe it. Like he never did anything wrong, but for the love of God, I don't know why. It was one of those really weird ones.
Could be a past life.
Yeah, so that's what I'm putting it down to. But
but it's a really interesting thing to study, and you can learn so much about yourself, why you behave the way you do. And why you feel the way you do about certain things, and again, taking it back to your astrological birth chart, there's information about your past lives in there as well, and what you need to learn in this life going forward. It's a very interesting topic, and where you can learn so much about yourself. So it's not just interesting; it's you can use it for learning more about why you are the way you are.
Yeah, you can certainly
in this particular life.
Signs and symbols from past lives that you can pick up on, or you might have something that's almost in much sharper focus than anything else, and you go, okay, that symbol's interesting, and then you realise something later on in your life, or there's some sort of magical connection for how you're working, and you go, that makes sense. That's why I've seen that symbol, or this animal, or this sign in my workings. I've got this connection to a previous life where that played a really important role, and there might be something about the lesson from that life that's playing an active part in your current. So it's always worthwhile, if you're certainly doing it, keeping a journal, and if you're keeping a magical journal and you have a past life regression, try comparing the two. You may find that there are signs and symbols in there, and be interesting to we spoke about soul names. One thing that would be interesting to do is to see if you could create some sort of sigil for your own sort of experience through the past lives of signs and symbols you might pick up on in past lives. Which would be something interesting to try, but that was just sort of popped into my head. Cool.
So tell us if you've had past life experiences. Tell us if you were Cleopatra, or
Alexander the Great's chief eunuch.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know in the comments. This is a conversation. We want to hear about your experiences too. I think that's where we'll leave it for today.
Yes.
For the Caffeinated Occultists. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.